Taliesin in Wisconsin and Taliesin West in Scottsdale, Arizona are the home and studio for Frank Lloyd Wright when he was alive and was a practicing architect. I graduated from college, and then it was, just through my love for architecture that I grew up in the Midwest, so he started out in Chicago and in Wisconsin, not far away from where I lived in Indiana. So I knew about him, but it was in college that I became more familiar with his work and really had a fascination for his work. And my impetus for going was not necessarily to be able to copy what he did, which a lot of architects have done, but it was to get more of a firsthand experience at his thought process, and number two, how he was able to convince people to do what he wanted to do. Fortunately, I was there with a number of people who were apprentices for Frank Lloyd Wright during his lifetime. None exist today. Of course, that's 30-some years ago, and they were already in their 60s and 70s at that time. So I feel very fortunate that the time that I was there, I got that firsthand experience. So I got a lot of stories from them about their experience with him and how he thought through different things. The experience of living with nature is forefront in anything that he did. I mean, he looked at a tree like you can look at the trees outside this window and you see the trunk of the tree and then the branches that come off of the tree, and then he figured out ways to make cantilevers on buildings extend out so that your experience was different than looking out a window. You could walk out the door and you could walk out and onto this platform that extended out over above something so you could look down on the things below. A lot of what he did was floor to ceiling glass so that you look out and you just see the easy transition from the floor you're standing on to whatever's outside. So he was very, very adept at, number one, bringing the outside experience in and bringing the inside experience out. So he had a lot of things he did where he had doors, bifold doors that would open up, so there was a wall of what looked like glass, but then all the doors opened up, so it's almost the outside and the inside became one. Another thing that he would do, which I did not know about until I got to actually live there and experience the space and some of the buildings that he did, he was very careful about framing your view from the inside to the out. So there was one building, the house that I got to visit, where there was a road. The house was sort of on a hill, so it was sort of up on the hill a little bit, but you looked out and you saw this highway out there. So he designed that particular facade of the building in such a way that there was glass down at the bottom, and you looked out and you saw your lawn extending out from the space, and then you looked up above this solid mass in the middle, and you saw the sky above. So you saw the sky and you saw the ground, but he eliminated from your view the road. So it's what was something that was active and not necessarily desirable to look at, by only seeing what's below it and what's above it, it became very passive and more nature-like. He designs what he does, especially when it comes to his residences in particular, but it's also true for some of his commercial buildings, but he designs in such a way that it impacts the way you live your life. He wants you to experience the outdoor space. He wants you to feel comfort in the indoor space. But even a lot of his residences in particular, he even designed all the furniture and some of the furnishings that go in them, and discouraged people from taking over an empty home and then going out to the furniture store and cluttering it up with mismatched things. So he wanted everything to relate to the space and how you experience the space. And that's one of the things that fascinated me when I didn't know too much about him, was how he convinced people to let him design all their furniture and sometimes even their furnishings and their place settings on their tables and you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but a lot of the people that actually lived in some of his buildings simplified their lives and felt like there was a positive impact on their lives going forward because of the space that they lived in. So he was not for cluttering up space or hanging a lot of decorations, or simplicity and elegance and everything within your space relating to the experience that, and it wasn't an experience that he wanted you to have, it was the experience that you had with the natural environment that your house was setting in. Inherently, I think in all of us, nature speaks to us. It may, you know, speak to you a little differently than me, than anybody else, but inherently we have this attraction for the natural environment, and that's really what drove what he did. It wasn't because he knew you well enough to know what you needed. He just knew that if he could figure out a way that let you be really a part of your intimate involvement with the environment, then everything else would take care of itself.